Welcome to Section 5, Real World. Get started with the Gatsby web app based on React hooks. Here's what we'll learn in this section. In our first video, we'll find out what Gatsby is all about and get started with a hooks-based basic blog app. In our second video, we'll find out how Gatsby uses GraphQL to query page and component content. Then, we'll create our first post and query them for components and pages. We'll flesh out our basic blog app in video number 4 of this section. And then, in the final video of this section, we'll check out a cool website based on Gatsby and all about hooks. Intro and getting started with Gatsby and React together. What we'll learn in this video. We'll find out what's so special about Gatsby and use it to start building our own basic blog app. We'll get our first glimpse into how Gatsby loves React hooks. Gatsby is one of the most exciting React-based frameworks out there and is a fundamental, real-world use of React. And React is greatly simplified in several ways via React hooks when using Gatsby. It's a static site generator and web app content-oriented framework based on React. It's full of wonderful features. It just cares about what you need to make content-centric websites and web applications. So let's see what it's all about, basically, even though a whole introduction to Gatsby is beyond the scope, of course, of these videos. But let's see basically what it's about. The whole idea of how Gatsby works is that it pulls data from anywhere, from CMSs, WordPress, Drupal, Contentful. All of these offer REST APIs or some way of exposing data so that you can manage your content as a CMS and then have Gatsby grab it. Another way of doing this is using GitHub as your CMS and just writing markdown files, for example. And Gatsby can grab data from just about anywhere. It then brings it in and exposes it to each page and each React component via GraphQL. Generates HTML, CSS, and React that can run anywhere, and you deploy the whole thing as a static web host. Although it can have behavior, as we'll see. It can be an actual web app, not just a static page. So that's the basic idea of what Gatsby is all about. Let's generate a simple Gatsby site using its scaffolding method, the Gatsby CLI command line interface, which, by the way, we want to make sure is not installed globally with Node or NPM, so that we can use npx to generate our app using the guaranteed latest version of the Gatsby CLI. So we'll check out the version. Good. Gatsby is not installed. So let's go ahead and use npx to whip up and scaffold our first app. npx Gatsby, new, we'll call it basic Gatsby blog, and we'll invoke one of the starter kits that you can use. It just is a hello world page. Let's run that. So it takes a minute or so, and we're just speeding up the process here. And there we have it. As you can see, it has some similarities with Create React App, where it initializes Git for you and creates an initial Git commit in your repo for your app. So you make any changes you need in Git ignore for yourself, depending on what environment you're using, and then you change into your new directory. And here's your app. Now, we do want it to run on our own port. We don't want it to run on 8000 necessarily, which is the default. And for that, we have to set up some environment variables. In order to run Gatsby on a different port, we've made a little file called run, which will run Gatsby in development mode on port 6008 in the local host. So to do that, we just do .run. There we go. Compiled successfully. Going to be running on port 008. We'll see what this ___ GraphQL is all about in the next video. And that this is a development build. We should use npm run build to create a production version, just like in Create React App. And there we have it. Our Hello World app is running. The app that's generated and is running right now is quite simple. It has a static directory with the favor icon. The source directory just simply has an index.js that says hello world. That's all it does. As you can see, it uses a function-based component to do this, so we're all set for hooks. As we'll see, as time goes on, we'll find out that Gatsby loves hooks. So, in this video, we started to realize how Gatsby is so much fun to use and how it can be built purely on function-based components. Like every great framework, Gatsby has great scaffolding features, and we use them to get started with our own app.